So, what we're going to look at today is how can I become more intelligent? It's about not the materialistic evolution of the species, because science is an utterly and completely materialistic thesis. But we are talking about not that evolution, materialistic evolution of physical bodies, although that we can refer to. We are talking about the evolution, or the better word is the becoming of intelligence. Now, where is intelligence going to become? Do you think it's going to become over amongst the Afghanis? Do you think it's going to become amongst the Jews, the Palestinians? Do you think that's going to become intelligent? Do you think President Bush is going to become intelligent? Any of the leaders, do you think they're going to become intelligent? The only place where intelligence can ever become more intelligent is in that body listening to these words and this body speaking them. Is that true? So how do I become more intelligent? I'm going to ask you a question. What do you do every day that you don't need to do? Because you are wasting some of what I will call your energy. Now, energy should be contained, not expressed in unnecessary or useless activities. Do you talk too much? Do you think too much? Do you worry too much? Do you watch television too much? Do you have so many friends that they're sucking the life out of you because you please yourself, going around all your friends? And then you wonder why you have bad days and good days, because they suck the life out of your friends. Unnecessary friends. Friends are friends. You don't have to be attached to them. They're just there, or they're not there, or they pass through. You don't have to spend your time chatting. Do you spend a lot of time on the phone talking to your mother and father? Do you? Do you spend a lot of time on the phone speaking to your friends? Do you go home at night and ring them up because you don't know what to do with yourself? And what do you talk about? Do you say to your mother and father, "It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful night. How do I know it's a beautiful night? Because I'm just grateful that I'm able to phone you and just tell you it's a beautiful night and it's a beautiful day and everything is beautiful in my life." Do you say that to your mother? Not likely, but you want to waste your energies and chatting about where you went for a holiday and what you did and what you didn't do. I mean, we are talking about being intelligent, aren't we? We are talking about it, aren't we? You've got to do your work. That's the way. If you've undertaken to do your work, then you've got to do it. Well, why not? You chose to do it. Don't pull back from it. If you're going to do a study, then do it. Do what you've got to do. But what about all these unnecessary things that you amuse yourself with? That's where you waste not just your time, but you waste this precious, I say, power that you have inside of you. You expend it as energy. Energy should be contained so that you get the power in you. The power what? The power not to have to worry anymore, not to have to be anxiously concerned about anything anymore. The power to just have everything come to you that you need without you having to expend any effort that you're not moved to expend. We are talking about intelligence, aren't we? Do you think intelligence is just there so that you can write a book, so that you can earn $1 million? What are we talking about here? What do I mean by intelligence? What's intelligence supposed to do on the earth? That's a good question, isn't it? Well, what is it supposed to do? It's supposed to do what I just said. Changes the life completely. Makes your life effortless, although you might expend effort, as I'm doing now. It's effortless what I'm doing now. It's effortless, my living. It's effortless for you to sit there. Unless, of course, you've got wanting and wishing and hoping and praying and all the rest of that stuff down in your guts, which then gets up to your chest, where you find it hard to breathe. And then it gets up into your head, and you think that you've got trouble with your head, with thinking, when it all comes from down in your guts, where you store yourself. All your disappointments, all your unhappiness, all your broken love affairs, all your sexual encounters, all your sexual unhappiness, your sexual frustration is down in your stomach. That's where it is, and that's where it lives, and it's called yourself. And it's that rises up and gets into the brain because you allow it to get into the brain instead of containing it. You know what containment means? Containment means that you put the stopper back in the bottle. This is the bottle down here, and there it is. All the self, all the shit in the world is down here in the shit department, down in the belly. That's where your self lives, in the shit. And you've got to put the stopper on the bottle. So what do I do if I contain it? What does containment mean, Barry? Containment means I do not think about myself. Now, are you listening to this, please? Are you hearing this, or are you going to hear it now and then get on with it, thinking about yourself? Are you listening to me? You have to stop thinking about yourself. You have to stop thinking about your problem. So, righto, someone, tell me your problem. This man here, straight ahead with the red jumper on. What's your problem? Yeah, you. What's your problem in your life? Here, hand it to you. Take that, I'm sorry. It doesn't move fast enough, does it, for me? Right, okay, thank you. Well, you are in existence, Barry, and everything takes time. Even for you to wave your hand takes time, so it takes time for the voice to get over to the man, and then it takes time for the microphone to get to him. Everything takes time, Barry. It's laborious. It's crucifixion here. But we adjust, even to crucifixion.
It's Nigel here, Barry.
Yes, Nigel, so what's the problem?
I still think too much.
And why do you think too much? And what do you think about first?
The future. And
the future, okay. Well, will you stop thinking about the future, please? Look, thinking is a substitute for action. Is that a good definition? Thinking is a substitute for action. So he's thinking about the future. The future hasn't come, so if he wants to think about the future, why doesn't he do what he sees needs to be done in regard to the future? Such as go and get a degree, go and, I'm not saying he hasn't got one, or go and do something that will prepare him for the future. So why think about it? Why don't he do what the future indicates? Instead of thinking about it, what do you think? This lady here, I noticed you yesterday and the day that you came in when you sat over there. You've been listening, but you have a problem in your life, don't you? No, this lady here behind you in white. Coming down, here it comes.
Well, if I'm now,
Yeah, but you're not now. So you have a problem in your life, right? So you tell me what the problem in your life is if you don't mind. I don't want to put any pressure on anyone. Well, I mean, it's not personal, you see? I'm not personal. I'm really not personal. I'm now, but the lady's not now. She's going to say, when I'm now, I don't have a problem. Yeah, well, I don't have any problems at all at any time. So, right. So, come on. How's your partnership?
To me, it's perfect.
Is your husband here?
No,
Why isn't he here?
he's on a trip at the moment, overseas.
Does he go away very often?
No, not much. It's a business trip.
Okay. And you're happy with all that?
Yes,
And everything's working for you?
yes.
Well, something tells me that you've got a problem in your life. Now, I'm never wrong. I know that's a terrible thing to say, but let's listen to the lady and see if everything's perfect in her life. Would you like to tell me one and I'll help you?
I'm trying to pinpoint a problem, but
Oh, that's not difficult. It's what you think about. What do you think about? Talking to everybody. What do you think about?
I think about God.
No, you can't think about God. You can only love God. So let's forget that one. Now, what's the next one?
If I'm doing the right thing as a being on earth, in
Are you-
regards to the truth, that is.
Yeah, well, you'll never know that by thinking about it, because the thinker is the devil on this earth. Everyone who thinks is entrapped by the devil. And, you know, the devil is something that doesn't want the good for us. The God is something that always wants the good for us. So when I use the word devil, I'm using something that does not want the good for us. And there's only two things on this earth. And one is God, which wants the good for us, which gives the good for us every moment, because I can breathe, and that's pretty good. And then there's the other, the thinking process. And we think because of this stuff down in the stomach, disappointments and unhappinesses, frustration in our life, and what we think about. You can't think about truth. You can only be true. So you can't think about that. And the reason that you're on earth, may I tell you the reason that you're on earth, is to live your life just as you've lived it to date. Absolutely, completely, perfectly. Everybody, you are here to live your life. Your life has been perfect according to your needs. And my life has been perfect according to my needs. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to think about the past, about who left me, who broke my heart, who hurt me and all that. I don't think about that because all that was perfect. So I don't have to think about it, do I? Well, did you think there was something else but a perfect life here? Well, the only thing is to have no thought. That's a perfect life. Isn't that amazing? Because whenever you think, say your child dies or your lover has just left you, what do you think will happen inside of you? You will think about your lover or your dead child, and you will suffer. Is that true, or am I making it up? We've got to be careful that Barry's not making it up, haven't we? Would that be true? If I think, I suffer. Would that be true? I'm asking the lady in front of me.
Yes.
Good. So why do you think? Because you haven't realised that, have you?
No.
And now you have. Now, it is very difficult to give up thinking. Extremely difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. It is simple, like the banner up there says. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was simple. It's not easy to give up thinking because your husband thinks, you think, your children think, your mother and father think, and the whole society thinks. So here we are, in a society that's always thinking and projecting its thoughts as unhappiness, like the newspapers. Every newspaper man and woman is unhappy, especially in their love lives, right? And so all we get is unhappiness in the newspapers. Conflict and scandal. That's all they're interested in. Conflict, rows, and scandal. Because they're unhappy. So when you're unhappy, that's what you talk about. Unhappiness. You talk about happy as much as you can, but soon it turns into unhappiness. So it's very hard to stop thinking in such bad company. And everyone is bad company who thinks. What do I do, Barry, if I don't think? Well, you have 5 senses. You can be in the sense behind your senses so that you can see what you see, hear what you hear. Not that you have to listen to what you hear. It's just a complete thing in the senses. So, if you are in your senses, you've heard of coming to your senses, haven't you? You've heard that expression. Oh, why don't you come to your senses? Right? Well, the person who says that, of course, hasn't come to their senses. Neither is the one listening. To come to your senses is to live in your senses. Well, that's what the animals do. Don't they? They hear, they see, they smell. And if everything's okay, they just enjoy their life. Human beings, being out of their senses, way out here, thinking all the time, way out here, haven't got time to enjoy their life. Unless they're on the move, on a good trip, on an aircraft, in a car drive, anything. Anything to get away, this sense of getting away from his senses. But you'll always be in your senses and you'll always be thinking, sooner or later. Driving the car, thinking. Staying at home, thinking. Lying on the beach, sunbathing, thinking. So then you have to pay the price for your thoughts, which is the human condition of unhappiness. But is that true? Is everybody unhappy? Yes, every single body on earth is unhappy. All pretending to be happy in their way so that they're not caught out. Everybody is unhappy to some degree in the human condition. Especially in their love lives, which they make out is beautiful or good or perfect. And of course it's not. Only God is perfect. And God does not think. Now, how do I become more intelligent? First, I look into my life like you've been looking, I trust, to see where you waste your valuable energy which should be contained and turned into power. The unnecessary things that you do. It's up to you, only you can see that. Second, to be grateful for your life. Not just now and again when you think of it, but to have somehow or other inside of you eventually a sense of acknowledgement of how fortunate I am in that body every moment. Eventually, it will become a natural thing, like the flowers give out their natural beauty without any effort at all to those who can really see them. And so the human being is able to just emanate something of gratitude for what I have. But if you think, you cannot be grateful because thought is the cause of your unhappiness. So you're going to be unhappy again. So to be grateful, you can't think, because gratitude has got nothing to do with thought. Gratitude is a sense of giving of your being. That's all. Not giving any particular thing, but just giving of your being. That's gratitude. And what do you give to? Well, there's only one thing to give to, and that's the source of everything that you have, which for want of a better word is called God, because nobody can define God. Now the third thing that is helpful is to be still and go quiet and to close off the senses. So, would you close your eyes, please? Now when you close your eyes, you delete a certain amount of distraction, because the sense of sight is a great distractor if you are not in your senses. So we close that off, and we can't close off our ears, and we don't need to, because now with the eyes closed, the intelligence that was being used in the eyes, and the eyes take a good deal of intelligence, the sense of sight. So having closed it off, that intelligence is sort of contained, isn't it? What I've been talking about, containment. So I close the eyes and I have now available to me a greater resource of intelligence, of focus, of intelligence. And I focus that inside my body. I've got to have something to focus on in the first instance, because otherwise my mind will take over. If I'm not focused on something, I'll start focusing on myself and I'll start thinking. Well, this exercise is not about thinking. It's about eventually being. So I focus in the first instance on the stillness and silence inside my body. The speaker has been speaking to you for some time now. And if you have not been disturbed by what he says, you are in a place of greater stillness than you were. Now it is to focus on that stillness which is a sign of intelligence. For that stillness is the intelligence inside your body. And you have an intelligence that is outside the body. And the idea of intelligence, to get really intelligent, is to be able to focus on the intelligence inside the body, represented by stillness and silence. And then the two intelligences meet. One, the outer intelligence, which is what is called I, what you call I in this world. And the other, the instinctual intelligence in the body. When they are able to meet without disturbance of thought, or wanting, or wishing, or hoping, or impatience, then you are truly intelligent. And you are then in the state of absence. Absence of what, Barry? Absence of anything. An absence of anything is another word for nothing. So this is another way, in concert with the other ways that I've spoken, that you become more intelligent. By being able to focus on the stillness and silence inside the body, not outside it. Not having to focus on any thought. Not having to focus on some artist's imagination of Jesus, as for instance, whom nobody ever remembered enough to paint. All bullshit, all manufactured by human unhappiness or minds. The stillness, the silence inside your body, which is the instinctual intelligence, that is the closest you can get to God, for that is God. Before anything came into existence. So let's stay in this state. It's a state. a state of stillness and silence. But you have to be consciously doing it, intelligently doing it, focused on this stillness which is inside your body. You can't gradually drift off into thought or trance. The whole point is intelligence is always alert. So you stay alert with the stillness and the silence.